G'day, it's Rob here again. Well, we're into winter, it's not great weather down in the workshop, too cold and miserable, and it's barely got over sort of 12 degrees lately. And the only thing I've done recently in videos was a couple of videos on those small metal lathes that people were interested in, and once again I was answering several email questions about them. So I do get emails quite regularly from people on all sorts of stuff. Yeah, fine, I don't have a problem with that. If it's a decent, sensible question, I'm only too happy to help out. And I got one the other day from, need the specs for this these days, Matt R. Hello Rob, any chance you could do a quick video on how you organise your fasteners, nuts, bolts? Do you have a system? I've looked into those wall-mounted tray systems, so it's a pretty expensive way of doing things. I've used glass bottles before, but they don't like being dropped. ... Yeah, good question. It's actually something that, well, it's like you got a workshop and some of the stuff you take for granted you never think about people sort of wanting to know about. So yeah, I'll give you my impressions on what I think is a reasonable way of doing it. I mean, there's so many options on this. It's all a matter of whether you want to buy new or just recycle stuff, and depends what you want to store, because as they say, one size does not fit all, particularly with storage. Definitely not. You know, you've got tiny little screws, you want a small container, you've got big springs or bolts or whatever. You want a long container, do you want a lid? So I'll show you what I use and you can make your own mind up, but generally pretty much all my storage is second hand. In fact, it's all second hand. That's the way to go. You save a fortune, and yeah, some of these things are a lot better than others. So I'll switch to the other camera and we'll have a look around my workshop. First off, I've got to say, I like shelves, and in my workshop you'll see shelves everywhere. And this big bench here was all built out of the cross beams from telegraph poles years ago. My old man built that. It's all salvage. And in there you can see all those little containers, and there's a variety of containers we'll go through. But yep, I like shelves, and I don't like them too deep. It's okay for a workbench, but if you've got shelving on the sides, like the walls alongside of where you drive your car in, you want it not too deep so that, you know, you can open the car doors or get out of your car. You know, they can take up a lot of space. But yeah, for a bench, deep shelving is fine. I also don't like cupboards or shelves with doors on them that swing out. Sliding doors, not a problem. But swing out doors are a pain in the arse, because they always have to swing out. You've got limited workspace to begin with. You've got to have room for the door to open. And then you've got to, you know, dodge the door, get in and dig out whatever you want. Nah, I hate them. I really am a shelf man right through. And even up here on the bench, you know, you can see I've got a shelf. You can just reach straight in and grab whatever you want. You're not opening doors or sliding stuff. I don't like having stuff on hooks, particularly tools. A few paintbrushes are okay, but, you know, I just like to grab it and go. Here's another example of shelving. Now this is salvage once again, it's second hand. It was junk day, brown built shelving. It's adjustable steel shelves, and you can see the beauty of those is they're steel, they're solid, they're not very deep. You're not diving up the back to try and drag stuff out, but they're deep enough for old ice cream containers, like that UNC one there, down there, you can see. And also you've got some of those, you know, stackable plastic things that are expensive, and once again I picked them up second hand somewhere. But yeah, you can see the benefit of those shelves. You can get straight to stuff. It's not deep, you're not fishing around up the back, and the containers I've got on them are all manageable size. You know, you don't want them too big. That's just perfect. There's some more brown built shelving there. And then I've got boxes on top, out of old drawers with stuff in them. But I know instantly where everything is. I know for sure. Everything's got a home, and it goes back in that home straight after I use it. I just don't toss it anywhere. It goes back in its original place. So yeah, more brown built shelving. And you can buy that on Gumtree second hand, get it real cheap. Buy it new, it's hellish and expensive, but it's heavy duty, good stuff. So yeah, I love my shelves, and cupboards are pretty light on. But you can see, you know, you can just get all those, any of those cutting discs out, go straight through them, hook out the old circular saw. I mean, if you've got doors, you've got to fight your way past the damn door. I mean, obviously it's going to swing back this way, you know, so you've got to get past the door and then open it, get in the bloody cub, into the shelving, hook out what you want. It's just, it's the pits. I hate doors. Also, on the right here, we've got trunks, you know, toolboxes and trunks. Little toolboxes are okay, big trunks are okay, but you can see what happens. They always get stuff put on top of them, but then they're great if you want to hold big stuff, you know, you want to stack away, you know, stuff you don't use very often. Anything you use regularly goes on the shelf. Anything that doesn't get used very often goes in a trunk or a box. And yeah, everything gets recycled. Even that green thing, that was a box I had fishing gear in when I was doing a lot of fishing, and now it's full of hose fittings. I'll show you. There you go. Yeah, take your pick. And you've got hoses underneath the shelf. So any of these containers, you know, there is no such thing as one container, one perfect container. You could use anything you want, you know, but I like to recycle. Even that big black box it's sitting on, that was junk day, picked it up. It's all foam lined inside. People throw out stuff, it's unbelievable. I just can't get over it, you know. But some people got more money than sense, quite frankly. Here's another trunk, that's ex-army. I've got a second hand, I think I paid $20 for it. That used to go on the back of the ute when I was doing a lot of cropping, you know, farming. And you'd be, you know, out in the tractor all night and eating dust, eating dirt for breakfast, lunch and tea. Yeah, I used to put gear in there that I want to keep clean, and you could bang around the back of the ute and it didn't matter. They're a bloody good trunk though, if you can pick them up. Yeah, they're well made. I mean, the military grade, you know. But once again, you see what's happening. You know, stuff gets stacked on top. So once again, if you want to use a trunk, a big box like that, just put in the stuff that you rarely use, and there's stuff in there that, yeah, I know what it is, but yeah, it's rarely used, and you can see why. Okay. And what have we got in here? Well, we've got my little DC powered tool post grinder. It sits in there with its power supply, a DC power supply, mounts and little chuck and all sorts of stuff. I can get straight to it. You know, this is stuff I use regularly, and yeah, it just sits on a shelf alongside the lathe. But of course, you can, you know, you do it in such a way you can still open the door to change your belts. Right? So, you know, when you ever set up workshops, you've got to think ahead about what, you know, where you can put stuff and what's going to be in the way of you. And that's why I don't like doors, you know. I just hate them. Right, moving on. So let's look at the individual sizes. This is good stuff. These are Goulburn Valley fruit salad. When I used to eat that stuff, but I don't now because I'm right off sugar and cheesy stuff. Got to watch the old cholesterol and the sugar levels these days. So yeah, these are good. You know, you can put stuff in there. You don't need to look through them, but they're plastic, they're unbreakable. You just got to find someone that's going to eat it for you. And it's even got my easy 303 brazing compound in there, you know, flux, so they're good for that. And then, you know, the old margarine containers. And you've got a whole lot of shims in there. All this stuff's good. As I said, it's just a matter of what you want to use, you know, what you've got. And, this is man's best friend. Once again, you need someone to eat the ice cream for you. Yeah, the old ice cream containers. These have lids, which are good. Stop stuff. Well, sort of stop stuff going rusty. But yeah, it's these are the best because you can stack a couple of these on top of each other. No more than two because of the weight. It's only plastic. And years ago they did a metal version. You know, back in the old days. Back in the old days, when I was just a lad. Yeah, ice cream came in these things. Yeah, they last. They're good. I've got stacks of those. Once again, you can stack them, you know. There's another one. It's all plastic. Whole lot of Allen head of bolts there. And then where would life be without peanut butter? Plastic. So yeah, think about recycling, you know, what you can. These round ones also came in square. You know, have a nut or a bolt, eh? I've got lots of nuts and bolts. My old man was a motor mechanic, and once a year they did stock taking, and at the workshop where he was, and that's exactly what they did. They took the stock. I mean, that sounds dreadful, really, but the situation was that they had these part containers of nuts and bolts and things like that, so, you know, rather than run out, every year they'd buy new batches of everything, and all the old stuff all got taken away by the mechanics. And yeah, nuts and bolts, not an issue in my workshop. Laid on. And then you got the old coffee tins. They're always good. You can get them in various sizes. There's a smaller size than that. And the old brother-in-law, he likes using these. These are just old oil containers, or what do they hold? A gallon, and just cut one side out, either that side or this side, vertically or that way, and they make great containers. So you can even do it with plastic, the modern plastic ones that you often get. You know, you can just cut one side out and just pull them in and out. You know, they work fine. He's got heaps of these on his shelves, and yeah, it's just recycled old fuel cans. Just grab the handle and pull them out. Good stuff. And then of course you go, you know, upmarket. You've got to buy these generally. Occasionally you get these second hand, but these little drawers are good for small stuff, you know. Like it's just the odd stuff, like, you know, some ball bearings and keyways and wall plugs and, you know, grub screws, sump plugs, whatever, all sorts of gear. So yeah, it's horses for courses, you know, big containers for big stuff, small containers for small stuff. You can't just have one type of container. That won't work. You're going to have a whole range of stuff. And if you like to recycle like I do, yeah, the sky's the limit. Literally, the sky is the bloody limit. Also, you can see, you know, once again on the bench top, I've just got shelves, so I can just grab some fencing pliers or the old locking pliers. Actually, these are a good buy. I bought these. Anyone in Australia? I got these the other day. Cheapest chips. These are the needle nose ones. $10. You go to Bunnings, they want like $30 for them at Bunnings. These are quite good quality. You've got your regular Molsons, you know, like that, which are handy for welding and that, but these needle nose ones, you don't see them, like, you're lucky to get them second hand. $10. There you go, guys. Bargain. Yep. So yeah, I like this sort of arrangement. You just grab whatever you want. You're not rooting around opening boxes and drawers and doors and stuff. Everything's got its place and everything goes back there afterwards. All right, moving right along. So there you go. That's what I've got. And yeah, I like to recycle. I don't like to spend money unless I have to. And those stackable ones, I wouldn't buy them myself because they're not really small, they're not really big. They're sort of an odd size, and yeah, I don't like them at all, really. It's up to you, but certainly recycling is a cheap way to do it. And also, I mean, it's a proper workshop. I mean, some of these workshops, you see people have got everything colour coordinated and custom made, and it looks like a doctor's surgery, you know, they're about to operate on you. That's not my workshop. That is not the workshop of anybody I know. Oh, one guy I know, he's got one like that. But most people are just, yep, does the job, that's all it has to do, and looks a second consideration. Okay, well that's it from me. Hope you found it interesting. Hope it answered your question. And the answer is no, there is no one container, there is no one size. Don't use glass. Anything made of glass in a workshop, bad news. And whether you want to, I mean, you know, you can use them however you want. I've seen people even have screw containers screwed to their overhead roof and stuff, and just unscrew the container off the lid. And yeah, you can store stuff a million ways. It's just up to you. This is how I do it, and certainly, yeah, nothing expensive and nothing flash. All right, that's it from me. See you next time. Cheers.